Echelon EX4s versus Proform Tour de France CVC from COSTCO. Both of these bikes are from COSTCO. You can buy either one of these bikes at COSTCO. This one costs about $1,000, whereas the Proform bike costs $385. So, you know, if you're in the market to buy an indoor cycling bike and you're at COSTCO looking to buy one, which bike should you buy? That is the question we're going to try to answer in today's video. One thing that is very similar about both of these bikes is they both come with a 1-year membership with their respective platform. On the Proform bike, you get 1 year of iFit for free, and this bike has automatic adjusting resistance. It does come with a little mini display up here that gives you metrics such as your resistance and your cadence and a few other metrics. And also you can bring your own tablet and attach, like, you know, an iPad or some other form of tablet and play the iFit classes right through the tablet up here. On the other hand, the Echelon comes with this 10.1-inch touchscreen that is much nicer, and it also gives you your metrics such as cadence, resistance, and power output, which this little mini screen does not give you power output. However, you can get estimated data for that if you bring your own tablet. If you're finding this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and any questions or comments you have, please leave down in the comment section below and I'll try my best to get back to you. Both of these bikes are belt driven and magnetic resistance that is digitally controlled. However, the flywheel on the Echelon bike is much more substantial. The flywheel mass and radius is much larger than what you get over here on the Proform bike. Does that actually make any difference? That is a question I will be answering here later in this video. And right here on the Proform, you can see the actual magnet stack, whereas on the Echelon, all of that is hidden away inside this plastic housing. One significant difference in the look of these bikes is the Echelon has its flywheel mounted on the rear, which is very similar to the Kaiser M3i, while the Proform bike over here has the flywheel on the front, which is much more traditional, just like the Peloton Bike Plus has back there and all of these other bikes I have back there in the background. Here's what the resistance knob on the Echelon looks like. It kind of clicks into each slot as you go along. The resistance changes pretty quickly and easily, not as quickly as on the Peloton Bike Plus over there. However, as comparison, we're over here on the Proform bike, and this is not a resistance knob at all. It is simply a plasticky, flimsy kind of feeling stop, and that is a physical stop to stop the flywheel in case you need to stop those pedals from turning over because it is a fixed drivetrain. To some degree, one of the things that both of these bikes kind of have in common is they both are kind of trying to, it seems, to get you kind of hooked into their platform. So it comes with that 1 year of free membership up front, but then after that 1 year is up, you're gonna have to really seriously consider, do you wanna consider paying for that membership? So those prices can start to add up, and if you don't renew it, I'm not saying that these bikes will become a brick because that's not the case. However, you may be kind of limited in their use if you don't use the membership services that come with these bikes. On the Proform bike, the only way to adjust the resistance on this bike is by pressing these buttons right here, and it moves the magnet stack down there. And on the Proform bike, you know, it is not the smoothest, quickest moving magnets. It doesn't get you from one resistance to the next very quickly on this bike. It does move much more quickly on the Echelon EX4s. Is that important to you? I don't know. You have to answer that question for yourself. So the point I was getting at here is, since those buttons control your resistance and your knob right here does not do that, the only other way to control your resistance is to throw a tablet up on here and use the iFit app and change the resistance through the metrics on the screen, which you can do. However, if you do put a tablet up here, it will block your access to those buttons. So, you know, if you want to use a different service such as Peloton Digital App or Apple Fitness Plus, and you throw a tablet on here, it will be blocking those buttons right there to change your resistance. However, you know, you could just use a television screen to play a different app if that's what you want to do, and then use the buttons to adjust your resistance on the Proform. On the Echelon Connect, you can play your classes right through the little mini screen here up on the front. And also, if you want to do off-bike workouts, you can flip this screen around and stand over here if you didn't have another bike blocking you, and do off-bike workouts as well. So, you know, there are a lot of different class options available in here. This is the freestyle mode that I have pulled up right here, which you do not need to be a Echelon member to get these metrics. So for example, if you wanted a quality built bike and you wanted to use the Echelon membership services for the first year, and then after that expires, you can just use the freestyle mode to get your metrics such as cadence and your resistance up there on the screen and your power output. and you could do the same exact thing and just turn on a television to play whatever classes you would like. You know, Peloton digital app, Apple Fitness Plus, free classes on YouTube, whatever you want. I do want to talk about the differences in comfort between these two bikes, because I will tell you the Echelon EX4s is a much more comfortable and quality bike than the Proform bike, as you should expect, considering this bike is $1,000 and this bike is $385. The Proform bike, as you've probably seen in my previous videos potentially, kind of tends to put you in an aggressive riding position, where this is on maximum height right now. You can see that the seat is actually sitting over top of the height of the handlebars, so it kind of makes you lean more forward than I personally would prefer. Echelon EX4s definitely gives you that ability to get in a more comfortable riding position, where this bike is also on maximum settings, and you can see that the handlebars are actually a little bit higher above the seat. In addition to that, the holes that you click into for raising and lowering the seat posts are spaced 15 millimeters apart on the Echelon bike, and these knobs are soft touch, rubbery touch, much more similar to what you get over here on the Peloton Bike Plus, which is a $2,500 machine. Very nice knobs on that bike. Also very nice knobs on the Echelon. The knobs on the Proform aren't terrible, but they are more of a plasticky kind of feel. They definitely do work, but you know, it definitely kind of shows that they saved a little bit of money on knobs here. But more important than that, the holes that you click into on the Proform are spaced farther apart. So they're 15 millimeters on the Echelon. Over here on the Proform, they are much further spaced apart, probably over double the distance. So if you're looking to dial in your seating position or handlebar position to a very particular closely spaced distance, you're not really gonna get that so much on the Proform in comparison to the Echelon. On the Echelon bike, you get these dual-sided pedals where you get a cage on one side. It has a fairly large platform, which is nice to put your foot on. It feels comfortable and nice. And on the other side, you get the SPD clip-in, so you can clip in if you're a more serious rider, but you also have that flexibility for, you know, if you have multiple people in your household riding this bike who don't have clip-in style shoes, or you know, you just don't want to clip in, you can use the cages and a big wide platform. On the Proform bike, you get this steel pedal with steel teeth. No clip-in option available on this bike, and on the other side it is a cage style. So this bike is kind of just more of a basic pedal. You just get that cage, and then, you know, if you want, you can swap out the pedals if you want to do that. I have links to that in the description box. That is probably my #1 question, is about pedals. So check out the description if you're curious about pedals. You can put any pedals you want on this bike. These pedals will go on the Echelon pedals will go on this bike. You can do whatever you want. The seat that comes on the Proform is not my favorite. I don't really like it that much. It's probably one of my least favorite seats, but honestly, don't listen to my opinion on seat, because everybody has their own preference and opinion on seat at the end of the day. For comparison, the Echelon seat looks like this. It has a little cutout in the middle, and it is a nicer feeling overall seat in terms of quality, and I think it looks nicer as well. Additionally, you get a weight rack on the back of the Echelon EX4s. Doesn't come with weights, but not a big deal. You can put whatever weights you want back here in case you want to do a workout that has weights involved with it as well. If you haven't had a chance to see any of my other Proform videos, one of my major gripes with this bike is the maximum resistance out of the box. I did find a way to modify the maximum resistance, which I put a link to that somewhere up here on the screen here or down in the description box if you want to learn how to modify the maximum resistance. But out of the bike, the maximum resistance on the Proform Tour de France CBC from COSTCO just really is not that great, and it just really doesn't do the trick for me. However, the maximum resistance on the Echelon EX4s is substantially stronger than the Proform bike. Anyway, though, I'm gonna hop on these bikes and give you my comparison of drivetrain feel, and just kind of, you know, if you're in the market trying to decide between the two COSTCO bikes, I hope that this comparison will help you decide which is better for your personal needs. I have a full in-depth review on the Proform bike. I gave it a tail happy score where I rated it on a scale of 0 to 100. So if you want to know more about the Proform bike, I have a lot of videos about that on my channel. Now what I'm going to do is just hop on these two bikes and compare them. So starting with the Proform bike, I have it on resistance 1, which is the minimum resistance. And I'm kind of just pedaling here. As you can see, I'm kind of in an aggressive riding position where this bike really kind of tends to put me really down forward and stretched out. The handlebars are just kind of like down, and this is a common complaint with a lot of people on the Proform bike. you know, the bike's not bad. It has a pretty good feeling, smooth drivetrain. The flywheel mass is pretty good, honestly. When I first bought this bike, I wasn't really expecting the drivetrain to feel as good as it does. You know, it's not the best bike that I have here, but honestly, for the price, the drivetrain on the Proform bike is really not that bad. The bike does make a little bit of noise. You can kind of hear, even though it's magnetic resistance, listen to it. And you know, the flywheel does have like pretty good inertia. The drivetrain on this bike really isn't that bad. So, but you see how it kind of puts me in an aggressive riding position so I have the seat all the way up, which my height is 6'5", and at the bottom of the pedal stroke, I can get that full extension, you know. My inseam is generally 34 in a pair of jeans, and you know, I feel like I get the proper extension. I just wish the handlebars came up a little bit higher to make it a little more comfortable, you know. So I did modify the maximum resistance on this bike. I'll crank it up a little bit here. I just put it to 9. The resistance changes slowly on this bike. Okay, so now I cranked it up to 16, which is the maximum, which I did modify it. And modified max resistance, I just got those magnets a little bit closer to the flywheel. You know, it's pretty good max resistance. Honestly, it's not that bad after you modify it. But if you don't modify it, this bike's stock, it's really just not that good at max resistance. Hopping straight on over here to the Echelon EX4s for comparison. Resistance is on 1. The bike is much quieter, definitely a much quieter machine. Also, the riding position, although it does kind of make me a little bit more aggressive riding position than some of these other bikes like Peloton Bike Plus, overall this bike is pretty comfortable, especially in comparison to the Proform. So let me crank on some resistance here. Resistance definitely cranks on quicker than the Proform bike. And it is digitally controlled magnetic resistance on both of these bikes. Now I have the resistance on 20 on the Echelon. It's getting pretty heavy already. And I'll just crank it up to max. So yeah, max resistance on the Echelon is legit. Like I said, you know, I modified that maximum resistance, but even still, the max resistance on this bike is better, higher than the Proform. Also, really, the important thing about the drivetrain though is like the inertia of the flywheel. What does it feel like? And overall, you know, like the Echelon EX4s is a good feeling drivetrain. I can definitely feel that the flywheel on this bike is heavier than the flywheel on that bike. The actual mass of this one, I believe, is 28 pounds, where on that one, I believe, is 22 pounds. So there's no doubt the Echelon EX4 is the better feeling bike, and also the bike with the higher maximum resistance of these two bikes. Honestly though, for the money, the Proform bike is really not a bad choice in terms of drivetrain feel. Like, it's a little bit noisier. The seat makes a weird noise. But somehow, you know, this bike actually has like really good drivetrain inertia. And honestly, it's a pretty good feeling drivetrain on the Proform. So if you're looking to buy an indoor cycling bike from COSTCO, these are the two main popular options they have going on right now. And honestly, you know, they're both pretty good options. They both kind of have their drawbacks, you know. Obviously, the Echelon EX4s is like over twice as much at $1,000. The Proform, $385 though. Pretty good bang for the buck, honestly, for this bike overall. Not the most comfortable bike. I know a lot of people have a complaint about that stretched out riding position. And if you don't need a high maximum resistance, the Proform bike does have a lot to offer at a relatively low price. If you're finding the information in this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and any questions or comments you have, please leave down in the comment section below and I'll try and get back to you. The one thing you do need to take into consideration for both these bikes is they kind of come with that 1-year membership deal up front, which is a good value right out of the gate. You know, you get that free year of classes and stuff. However, you know, that kind of locks you in a sense, you know, like after that 1 year is up, you know, these bikes are very specific to their particular platforms. With, you know, this one comes with the Echelon screen, which, you know, you could always just do that freestyle ride mode and play your own classes separately on a different tablet. I don't really foresee you being able to play classes from a different platform on this unless you can somehow find a way to hack it. And then kind of same deal over here with the Proform bike. You know, it has that automatic adjusting resistance feature, and you're only going to be able to use that most likely with the iFit classes, you know, unless you're some sort of hacker again, you know, and you can find a way to do that in another way. Anyway though, just keep in mind these are not your only two options, guys. I have lots of other bikes. I have the Peloton Bike Plus, a lot of other budget friendly bikes that are good and bad also. So browse my channel, check out my other videos if you're in the market to buy, you know, a bike for, you know, whether it's the $300 to $400 price range or $1,000 price range. I got the Schwinn IC4 back there, that's a $900 bike, pretty good. I'll be comparing those head to head. Lots more videos coming, guys. Just wanted to make a quick little video comparing the Proform Tour de France and Echelon EX4s head to head, because I know that these bikes are both in COSTCO and they are both relatively popular. So I hope this video has helped you. If so, give me a thumbs up. Any questions or comments you have, please leave down in the comment section. Subscribe, click notifications for my upcoming videos, and I'll see you in my next video.